Hi guys, welcome to another video. I know it's been a while, but I'm back with another troubleshooting video. I'm actually at a point where I have an Active Directory lab set up. So I have a server. I have one user connected to that server. Also another user that has administrator access to that server. But the issue that I'm running into is when I try to run my responder tool, which is used for capturing hashes or NTLM hashes. I seem to be encountering an issue that speaks about a network that is unreachable. Right, so you have a network that is unreachable, and when I try to run another tool, which is called NTLM relay.py, this tool is used to bypass the process of trying to capture hashes and manually trying to crack them. So this tool is used to relay an NTLM hash from one computer to another and gain access into the SMB share. So when I try to run this, it tells me of an SMB client error and that the connection was reset, and it tries to perform the same attack all over. Right, so we have an issue with that. Obviously PowerShell and Pi is not gonna run properly if I don't have a connection set up between the SMB share of that network or the network that I'm trying to exploit. So the solution is actually a beginner solution, so to speak. So it's quite simple. The first thing that you need to ensure before you run your responder or your NTLM relay py is to ensure that when you go to your network settings, let's just go there. When you go into your network settings, let's see, seems to be the issue here. Right, so you go into your network settings, and when you go to your adapter options, this network here shouldn't actually be here. You should have the name of your server, or you should have the name of your domain. And in my case, the name of the domain is, let me open this server up. In my case, the name of my domain is harvester.local. So when I come in here, it says here that you have network. This network shouldn't be here. So how you solve that is by simply ensuring, basically this is a precautionary measure that you should ensure you have set up before every other tool is set up on your network, or before you continue with your penetration testing, just to ensure that your work is smoother. So you go into this. So let me quickly show you what I did there. So you go into your Ethernet or your network adapter settings. So go to properties, right click on that, go to properties, go to your IPv4, right, and ensure that your DNS server address matches the IP address on your server. So you have here 192.168.19.162. It should match with our server. Now if you go to our server, let's go to command prompt. We go into the command prompt and look up the IP address. So it's 166. So that is the first issue that we need to get sorted. So we have 166, and now our computer should be able to be connected to the right server. Right, so even this hack me folder was not able to be opened because back then I wasn't connected to the right IP address. So I don't know if I can refresh this. Still not connecting. Right, now it's on. Now you can see that I have access into this domain. So the main issue that I encountered there was, well, it seemed to be my IP address really. Now I can run my NTLM relay tool. So I can cancel this process and try to set that up again. But before I do that, I have to ensure, right? I make sure that this is connected to the domain or to the SMB share from the server, right? I also have to ensure that another computer is also connected to the same IP address, because what I'm trying to do here with my NTLM relay x.py is I'm trying to relay a hash from this user into this user, or trying to relay a hash from this, an NTLM hash from this user to this user, so I can gain access into the SMB share. So I have to also ensure that this is also connected to the same IP address, and it should be able to show us whether it's connected or not. That is also essentially repeating the same process I repeated here. I completed here on my other user. So I just go to adapter options. You see, it should say harvester.local. So we get in here, we go to properties, we go to IPv4 properties, and change this also. Press OK. Close out of this. Let's go back to Ubuntu and try to run a NTLM relay.py. So we have already set up our target folder. Our target folder contains the IP address of our target already. So it contains the IP address, this IP address that ends with 163. So this IP address is one of the users that is within the network that we are trying to exploit. So we'll just wait for it to establish some sort of connection. But if that connection doesn't come up, or it doesn't show up, and you have access to one of the users here, to one of the user machines, you can just simply go into, right, you go into this PC and direct this connection to your Ubuntu. So let me do this. Let me show you something. Let's go into our Kali Linux machine and just look up the IP address. So it's 192.168.19.10. You can simply direct the connection to this computer here. Windows can't find this IP address, whatever. Let's go back to our Kali Linux machine and go into this. Voila. We go into a Kali Linux machine. So even if a connection was not established between this IP address and this computer, I directed, or I pointed a connection to this IP address, and as it was trying to establish a connection and was actually able to relay an NTLM hash from, let's see, from harvester jblack at this IP address, which is this PC, and it attacked the SMB share at this IP address here, this PC here, that is connected as the administrator. So if you go back to our Kali Linux machine, it was able to authenticate against the SMB at 144 as harvester. So this connection was a success. Run our PowerShell Empire on one tab, and this is also one thing that I need to emphasize. In order for you to run Empire, you have to run one tab as the server. So you go PowerShell Empire, you go to the location of your PowerShell Empire where you saved it at, and you run one tab as a server. You open another tab and you run it as a client. From then on, you'll be able to run your Empire. So that was a quick troubleshooting as far as ensuring that your users are connected properly to the domain or to the server, to the IP address of the server. So I guess that was my take on it. It wasn't really complicated, as it shouldn't be, but I guess it's one of those beginner mistakes that you make once in a while, where you forget to ensure that your users are connected properly to the same domain. And by the way, this is all from a perspective of a penetration tester. Of course, you're going to have permission to do these things. Just in case, I'm just saying that just in case your responder is not able to work properly, or your NTLM relay.py is not able to work properly, it's most likely due to a bad connection between the users and the domain IP addresses.